Palestine is a region steeped in history, marked by its profound cultural, religious, and geopolitical significance. Over the millennia, it has been a cradle of civilizations, the birthplace of major world religions, and the focal point of continuous conflict. The modern-day understanding of Palestine is deeply entwined with the Israel-Palestine conflict, a protracted struggle that has shaped the lives of millions and continues to influence the global politics. The history of Palestine dates back to ancient times. It was part of a larger region known as the Levant, which also included modern-day Israel, Jordan, Lebanon, and Syria. Archaeological evidence suggests that the area has been inhabited since the Paleolithic era. Over time, it became home to a variety of peoples and cultures, including the Canaanites, who are among the earliest known inhabitants of the region. The Canaanites established city-states that became important centers of trade and culture. Around the 13th century BCE, the Israelites, a Semitic-speaking people, began to settle in the region. According to biblical tradition, this settlement was led by figures such as Moses, Joshua, although historic evidence suggests for these events remain a subject of debate. The Israelites established a kingdom which at its peak under King David's and Solomon's extended its influence across much of the Levant. Jerusalem, the capital of the kingdom, became a significant religious center for Israelites and later for Jews, Christians, and Muslims. Following the division of the Israelite kingdom into Israel and Judah, and the eventual destruction of both the Assyrian and Babylonian empires, the region became under the control of various empires, including the Persians, Greeks, and Romans. The Roman period was particularly transformative as it witnessed the rise of Christianity, which spread from Palestine to the wider world. The Roman Empire's adoption of Christianity and the subsequent destruction of religious sites in Palestine further cemented the region's religious significance. After the fall of the Roman Empire, Palestine was ruled by the Byzantine Empire until the Islamic conquest of the 7th century CE under Islamic rule. Palestine became part of various caliphates, including the Umayyads and the Abbasids. Jerusalem, in particular, gained immense importance as a site of the Al-Aqsa Mosque and the Dome of the Rock, two of Islam's holiest sites. The medieval period saw Palestine caught in the crossfire of the Crusades, a series of religious wars between Christians and Muslims over control of the Holy Land. The Crusaders established a short-lived kingdom in Jerusalem, but by the 13th century, Muslim forces had regained control of the region. Palestine then became part of the Ottoman Empire in 1517, where it remained for 4 centuries. The decline of the Ottoman Empire in the late 19th and early 20th centuries set the stage for dramatic changes in Palestine. The rise of nationalist movements across the region coincided with the increasing tension between the local Arab population and Jewish immigrants, who had begun arriving in large numbers as part of the Zionist movement. Zionism, a nationalist and political movement, sought to establish a Jewish homeland in Palestine, which was seen as the historical land of the Jewish people. During World War I, the British government made conflicting promises to both Arabs and Jews regarding the future of Palestine. The Balfour Declaration in 1917, in which Britain expressed support for the establishment of a national home for the Jewish people in Palestine, fueled Jewish immigrants and settlement. At the time, the Sykes-Picot Agreement between Britain and France divided the Ottoman territories in the Middle East, with Palestine coming under British control as part of the post-war mandate system. The interwar period saw increasing tensions between Jews and Arabs in Palestine. Jewish immigration, land purchases, and establishment of settlements led to growing resentment among the Arab population, who feared the loss of their land and livelihoods. This tension erupted into violence on several occasions, most notably during the Arab revolts in 1920, 1929, and 1936 to 1939. As World War II came to an end, the horrors of the Holocaust strengthened international support for the creation of a Jewish state. In 1947, the United Nations proposed a partition plan to divide Palestine into separate Jewish and Arab states, with Jerusalem under international control. The Jewish community accepted the plan, but the Arab community and neighboring Arab states rejected it, leading to the outbreak of war following the declaration of the State of Israel in 1948. The 1948 Arab-Israeli War, also known as the Nakba, by Palestinians resulted in the creation of the State of Israel and the displacement of hundreds of thousands of Palestinians. Many fled or were expelled from their homes, becoming refugees in neighboring Arab countries. The war also led the division of Palestine into three areas: the State of Israel, the West Bank, which was controlled by Jordan, and the Gaza Strip, which was controlled by Egypt. The conflict did not end with the 1948 war. In 1967, during the Six-Day War, Israel captured the West Bank, Gaza Strip, East Jerusalem, and the Golan Heights. The Israeli occupation of these terrorists has been a central issue on the ongoing conflict. Palestinians have occupied territories here, which have lived under military rule, with restrictions on their movement, economy, and political life. The occupation has led to the establishment of Israeli settlements in the West Bank and East Jerusalem, which are considered illegal under international law. Though Israel disputes this, the settlements have been a major point of concentration, and they are seen by Palestinians and much of the international community as an obstacle to the creation of a visible Palestinian state. The Israeli-Palestine conflict has seen multiple attempts at peace, including the Oslo Accords in the 1990s, which established a Palestinian Authority and gave Palestinians limited self-governance in parts of the West Bank and Gaza. However, the peace process has been repeatedly stalled, with issues such as the status of Jerusalem, the right of to return of the Palestinian refugees, and the borders of a future Palestinian state remaining unsolved. Today, Palestine remains a land divided. The Palestinian territories consist of the West Bank, Gaza Strip, and East Jerusalem, though these areas are fragmented and subject to varying degrees of control by Israel. The West Bank is home by over 2.5 million Palestinians, but it is also dotted with Israeli settlements, military checkpoints, and separation barriers that further restricts Palestinian movement. East Jerusalem, which Palestinians claim as the capital of their future state, is under full Israeli control, and the city's status remains one of the most contentious issues in the conflict. The Gaza Strip, home to about 2 million Palestinians, has been under the Israeli blockade since 2007, when Hamas, a Palestinian Islamist political organization, took control of the territory. The blockade, along with repeated conflicts between Israel and Hamas, has devastated Gaza's economy and infrastructure, leading to widespread poverty and suffering amongst its population. The humanitarian situation in Gaza is dire, with limited access to clean water, electricity, and medical care. The Palestinian Authority, established by the Oslo Accords, governs part of the West Bank, but its authority is limited. Corruption, political infighting, and the absence of democratic elections since 2006 have weakened its legitimacy. Meanwhile, Hamas rules Gaza with an iron fist, and its rivalry with Palestinian Authority has further fragmented the Palestinian political landscape. The international community remains deeply divided on those issues of Palestine. While the United Nations and most countries recognize the right of Palestine to self-determination and statehood, significant challenges still remain. The United States, a key ally of Israel, has often vetoed resolutions critical of Israel at the UN and its recognition of Jerusalem as Israel's capital in 2017, further complicating peace efforts. The European Union and other international actors continue to advocate for a two-state solution, but with each passing year, the prospect of such solution seems increasingly remote. The ongoing conflict has taken a severe toll on the Palestinian people. Generations has grown up as refugees living in camps in Lebanon, Jordan, Syria, and within the Palestinian territories. The right of return for these refugees is a central issue for Palestinians, but it remains a non-starter for Israel, which fears that the return of millions of Palestinians would threaten its Jewish majority. Human rights organizations have documented widespread abuses in the occupation territories, including the demolition of Palestinian homes, arbitrary arrests, and the use of excessive force by Israeli security forces. The Israeli government argues that its actions are necessary for security, pointing to the threat of terrorism and rocket attacks from Gaza. However, critics argue that the occupation itself, within the system of checkpoints, walls, and settlements, perpetuates violence and undermines the possibility of peace. The Palestinian struggle is also a fight of recognition and dignity. Palestinians have sought to assert their identity and claim their rights through various means, including diplomacy, non-violent resistance, and at times armed struggle. The international movement for Palestinian rights includes the Boycott, Divestment and Sanctions (BDS) campaign seeks to pressure Israel to the end of occupation and respect Palestinian rights through economic and political means. The future of Palestine is uncertain. The peace process has been stalled for years, and the current trajectory states that the two-state solution may be increasingly difficult to achieve. The continued expansion of Israeli settlements, the political fragmentation of the Palestinian leadership, and the shifting dynamics in the Middle East all pose significant challenges. Some voices within the Palestine and Israel communities, as well as among international observers, has begun to advocate for alternative solutions, such as a one-state solution where Israelis and Palestinians would live together with equal rights. However, such proposals face immense opposition, particularly for those who fear it, and would compromise the British character of Israel or fail to address Palestinian aspirations for sovereignty. Palestine remains one of the most intraceable issues in the international politics. The legacy of colonialism, nationalism, and conflict has left deep scars on the land and its people. The world watches as new generations of Palestinians and Israelis continue to grapple with the legacies of the past, even as they seek to chart a course for the future. The path to peace, justice, and dignity for Palestinians is fraught with obstacles, but the desire for a just and lasting solution remains a powerful force. The history of Palestine is a testament to enduring resilience of its people, and their struggle for self-determination continues to inspire movements for justice and human rights around the globe.